Oh, hello. Welcome back to Speakeasy. I am still Paul F. Tompkins, and my guest today you will no doubt recognize from his role as Nick Miller on Fox's New Girl. Just New Girl, right?
Just
Not the New Girl.
Not the New Girl.
You don't talk yet. Please say hello to Jake Johnson.
Hello, Paul.
Jake, cheers. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What are we having? We're having a little vodka on the rocks?
This is Stoli on ice with a little bit of lime.
Yeah. That'll get you there, right? You have a film coming out called Drinking Buddies.
Yes.
What's this movie about?
So Drinking Buddies is about a group of friends in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It's directed by Joe Swanberg, who is an incredible director. Mm-hmm. And one of the most fun movies I've ever had, making. Mm-hmm. I play a character named Luke who works in a beer brewery in Chicago. Olivia Wilde plays a character named Kate. She works in the same place. Anna Kendrick plays a character named Jill, who's my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And Ron Livingston, who's incredible, plays Olivia's more sophisticated boyfriend. And it's about a group of people who drink a lot, hang out, and then the lines of what's appropriate and not appropriate kind of gets blurred. Mm-hmm. And it's the grass is greener thing in relationships, right, where you have somebody great, but then there's that perfect flirty friend. Mm-hmm. And they have a flirty relationship at work, and then you throw a bunch of alcohol in there and things get, messy.
There's actually some actual drinking in this.
There's real drinking in it. Yeah. The way this movie was made, Joe Swanberg, who directed it, everything was improvised. Mm-hmm. The story was very organized, so you knew everything that was going to happen. Right. The way he pitched me to do this movie was he said, I'll never make you do anything you don't want to do. You'll have total control of your character. He goes, I am in control of the story, so I know what's happening. And I'll give you the finest Chicago beers. And it would be weird if you weren't drinking them. And he also said 8-hour days.
Wow.
Yeah, and I thought, and I'm from Chicago, and my brother's wife had just had a son. So I was like, 8-hour days, drinking beer, improvising. Mm-hmm. I don't care if the movie's terrible, I'm doing it. Right. And then we went to South by Southwest, and the movie's great. So I was like...
Is that how you found out the movie was great?
Yes, I had never seen it in front of a crowd. It was all new. Mm-hmm. Mostly with these movies, when you go to a festival, you've already done, screeners here in LA. Right. So you kind of know what people think of it. Swanberg did it all differently. Nobody had really seen it. Mm-hmm. So we're at this massive theater where we have to do a Q&A up on stage after. And I was like, Joe, please tell me you know how this is going to go. Wow. And he was like, no, have a beer. It'll be fun. I'm like, you are a crazy human being.
Had you worked with him before?
I had, no.
So how much of this felt like a leap of faith? Because it's a sort of like Mike Lee approach. Right. Was it more exciting or was it more like, I don't know?
When I was coming up, I would watch actors and their arcs. And I would have certain guys I would think well, they always make the right calls. Mm. I would like to be an actor like that guy's an actor. Right. And now as I'm getting more work and more opportunities, I realize it is a total lottery. Mm-hmm. There's no science to it. There is no well, I can tell because of blank, it'll be this. Mm-hmm. For me, it's a human thing. And I liked Joe. And we talked on the phone a couple times, and everything he was saying, I liked. I felt like he was selling me a car, and I was basically saying, I hope this car is really what you're saying. Right. Because if I'm buying a lemon, I'm gonna be really frustrated. But if not, I'm getting a great deal on a used car here. So everything he said was actually true. Mm-hmm. He wasn't full of it, and I'd work with him at any point. I really loved it.
Oh, on the record.
On the record.
On the record.
Yeah, that's
on the record. Yeah. It's on the internet. It'll live forever.
It'll live forever.
It'll hold you to this. So you're actually drinking in the movie.
Yes.
When you would perform in Chicago and you do sketch stuff, a lot of times people have beers before, during, and after.
That's right.
Do you feel that prepared you for drunk performing?
Oh,
in
that's
this?
fantastic.
And did you guys actually get drunk? I mean, if you're drinking,
that's right. Well,
that much.
I don't think I ever really got drunk in Drinking Buddies. Mm-hmm. I definitely wasn't sober. I shouldn't be driving. But I do like to drink, so I think I can handle, 3 or 4 beers. Mm-hmm. Anna Kendrick got very drunk.
She's just a little slip of a thing.
She didn't drink a lot. We were doing one scene. We were up at a cabin, and we were playing, a drinking game with cards. And the way they shot it, Ben Richardson, who was the DP of Beasts of the Southern Wild, was our camera operator, and we only had one camera, so he did all that on his own. He liked really long takes, and Joe was really into that, so we would just go with it. Yeah. And we're doing a game with Anna, and I was running the game, so I was determining who was winning and losing, and I was making her drink a lot of beer. And when I say that, she drank one full IPA. Right. I knew she was going to be hit. I did not think she was going to get hit that hard. She starts improvising, and it's really funny. But it's a whole side of her I'd never seen.
Right.
You know, she's a hilarious actress, but like she was being a nut. And all of a sudden they call cut and she's like, all right, I'm drunk. And I was like, that is amazing. You got wasted. But I do think all the sketch comedy.
Wait, so during the scene, is she just like trying to maintain? Like she's improvising?
Well, no, in the scene, if you watch the movie,
right.
You know, her character plays, you know, she makes ice cream and she's a teacher and she's a very sophisticated, like, she is the character that's really put together. Mm-hmm. And Olivia is the party girl.
Right.
In this scene in the cabin, Anna is a full-on party girl.
Right. She's cutting loose.
She's fully cutting loose.
Right.
And I think a lot of that was just some method stuff going on there. She was having fun.
You're never gonna have an experience like that again, where just the 8-hour days.
That's right.
Like that. Did he keep to that?
He did. I mean, it really stuck to everything he said. And it was honestly, it's a very impressive thing. You know, it was his biggest movie. He had done very small movies. Mm-hmm. So he had made movies before for like 10 grand, where he was the camera operator, he did sound, and he was the lead. Mm-hmm. And so everything he was pitching, I would say, Joe, you're talking about this movie as if it's one of your movies that you just did in your backyard.
Right.
This is going to be different. It's like you're not running around doing everything. Right. And he's like, it won't change. And it really didn't. And we were all on board with him. It was like one of those really special experiences.
That is a thing that is very rare because show business becomes a job to you, and you analyze the things you do from in a professional capacity and say, okay, here's what I need to do, whatever, and the magic might leave at times, and it just becomes a thing you do. But on those occasions where you do click like that, I mean, certainly you feel like you have that with New Girl, right? The collection of people is...
Yes, what was kind of nice about doing New Girl was we all kind of auditioned at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like when I first auditioned, Zoe wasn't, you know, Jess yet. It was really early,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a call from Liz after, because I did No Strings Attached with Liz Merriweather.
Movie No Strings Attached.
Movie No Strings Attached. And then basically what happened is that movie opened as #1. Mm-hmm. And on Monday, I was at a hockey game, a Kings game, and I got a text from her saying, they just picked up my TV show. Would you be willing to read for it? So it was very early. There was kind of nothing involved. So I did an early read with her. Mm-hmm. Then I didn't hear anything, and I thought like, right on, moving on.
Right.
You know, early in pilot season, I'm still alive.
Seems like a good script. Good luck to everyone.
Good luck to you. I was 85% memorized. I thought I was doing a pretty good job.
85% memorized.
Going in at 100% is hard on the first one.
Can't be totally off book.
No, can't be. Yeah, gotta do
feel
this.
like the performance is set in stone.
As well as it's hard and I'm a little lazy. Then I found out Zoe got the lead in it. And I realized, oh, this could be a show. Mm-hmm. You know, especially when you're doing a pilot, they do so many. Yeah. So to break through is really hard. Yeah. And then they were doing chemistry tests with the Nicks and Schmidts.
And a chemistry test is where they literally just put different actors together to see, do they kind of jibe, and is it fun to watch these two people together?
And there were like 3 or 4 different Schmidts. Mm-hmm. You know, most of them were, you know, 6'2", 6'3" with blonde hair. Mm-hmm. And then there was Greenfield.
Max Greenfield,
yes,
who plays Schmidt.
That's right.
On your show, and who has also been here on our show.
I heard he's very sweaty.
He was very sweaty. He wore a couple layers too many.
Yeah, sounds like Max.
And it was pouring buckets down his face.
Not a smart guy.
Now look how you're dressed. You have a nice,
smarter guy.
Nice summer weight sweater on.
That's right. That's right. So, and then there was like 3 or 4 Nicks, and we were all very similar guys. You know, they're like buddies of mine because we audition against each other all the time. Right. So it was like 4 dudes in hoodies who were like bitching about something. And we started pairing up, and when Max and I auditioned together, we both really liked it. And it was one of those, when we walked out, we had that moment of, nice to meet you. I really hope we get to do this together, man.
Yeah, yeah. You know it when it happens.
You know when it happens.
Because it's a rare thing.
I think so too. Yeah. And what I love about working with Max so much is we're going after different things. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of comedians where, as actors, we kind of want the same laugh. With Max, we're playing different games at all points. So every scene where there'll be a moment of like, we can do a riff on that, he'll go, yeah, I got a take. I'll be like, me too, let's just go. Because your take is gonna be so different. Right. And then we each together had to read with Zoe. Mm-hmm. And so we all then kind of met, and then we had to go in front of the network in the studio, and then luckily they, you know, cast us all.
I don't know if people realize what a long process it is. It's agonizing because you get closer and closer and closer. And at any point,
it can stop. That's right. But they also do something which is really cold-blooded. And that is, you know, when I got the show, I was really struggling, and I hadn't booked anything big. So as an actor, you're really still always kind of check to check. So what they do is you sign your contract. You negotiate a deal. Yeah. You literally see the finances that you would make. I don't think any job quite does it like that.
Yeah, this is before the last audition.
You go in front of the entire studio and the entire network on a stage. It feels like a play.
Yeah.
And you perform 3 scenes.
Yeah.
And they watch to see if that's the character they want on their TV show.
But first you sign the contract.
You look at the numbers.
This is ostensibly so that you can't, if they want you, you can't hold them up
that's
for more
right.
money.
That's right. You can't say, you want me now?
Yeah, exactly. So you sign, you can see what your life would be.
You see everything.
Yeah.
And then you sign it, and you feel as you're signing it like it's yours.
Yeah.
But then you see 4 other guys signing the same ones.
And you're all in the same room.
And you're
sitting around a conference table.
And the new girl test was really tricky because the walls were thin. So I went in first, and I did a pretty good job. The first scene, I was definitely in my head. So I was thinking too much. I wasn't in the moment. I was hitting the laughs, but I was getting like medium chuckles.
Right.
Second one, I warmed up. Third one, I did great, and I walked out. I was like, all right, it was a snowball effect. But by the end, we got a snowball.
Yeah.
I can maybe get this job.
There you go.
Second guy went in, didn't do a great job. I could hear him. I thought, the moment got on top of you, pal. I think I got you.
Oh.
The third guy goes in, and he's a buddy of mine, and I've performed with him, and he's really funny. And I thought when I saw him, I was like, I don't want to see you here, man.
Right.
He went in there and was slaying dragons. The amount of laughs that were coming out of that room, I was sitting there listening. I'll never forget the moment because I knew I had an inside track with Liz Merriweather. She wanted me for the part. Zoe and I had a great chemistry read. Max and I had a great Schmidt-Nick thing. And I thought, this son of a bitch is stealing my job right now.
I have signed a contract.
Yeah, and I can't complain about it because I'm hearing the laughs he's getting. And so he finished, and then the casting director came out and they said, Jake, they want to see you again. And at that point, it was dead man walking. It was, I don't want to go to the electrocution chair. Yeah. I don't want to do it again. I've already lost. I'm happy to lose, but don't now humiliate me.
Yeah.
And he whispered in my ear, you need to go way more broad on the first scene. We're not going to do scenes 2 and 3. So I went in there and everything I rehearsed, I threw out the window. But I started getting laughs, and then all the years of sketch comedy came in, and I just yucked it up. And got the laughs, they walked out, and then, the next morning I got a call that I got the job.
It all coming together like that with a group of people is a rare thing.
I agree with that.
And that you've had that in a couple situations now.
Yes,
a
bunch actually. I've been really lucky. I started off in the first things I did, I was always working with friends. Because I do think there is a strategy in a business to our business, but at our core, we are playing fake characters a lot of the time, wearing makeup and wearing other people's clothes and saying jokes.
Yeah.
If it's not fun, something is weird.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saving babies in another country. We're clowning around.
Right.
If we're not having fun, like whenever there's tension in a scene or on set of a comedy scene, it makes me feel so weird.
Oh, it's the worst.
And it works, you can get like singles, but you're like, this is a nightmare.
Meaning like you could just
can isolate
we'll
moments.
put it together in editing.
That's
we'll
right.
shoot this guy. These two hate each other.
Right, but
Yeah.
I've been on those sets and you're honestly like, are you guys kidding me? Is this a joke?
Yeah.
Would you two figure this out?
Right.
New Girl is really nice because not only is the cast, we all genuinely like each other, but the amount of jokes, there's a lot of teasing on our set. It's it's got like that, family vibe where we're allowed to rip on each other.
Right.
And so when you screw up a line or you do a terrible take, our camera operator, this guy Casey, will go like, that was some of your worst acting, Jake. And then everybody can laugh. And he's not wrong.
Right.
But you just have that thing of like, this is fun. We are allowed to mess with each other. Right. When a camera operator's got to put a camera and do handheld and you can tell they're tired, it's nice to get them back. So like, we're lucky in that. And you can't pick that. Like I thought there could be a formula of doing that, and there really isn't. I just believe it's luck.
Yeah, it either happens or it doesn't.
It does, yeah, that's right.
How much stage stuff do you do these days?
Not a lot. I'll do, Ben Schwartz has a show at UCB called
Yes.
Snowpants.
Ben Schwartz, who's on Parks and Rec and, Parks and Recreation on NBC. That's a little nickname we use in the business.
This is such a cool moment. We're killing it.
What's funny? I can't believe I did that because it bothers me when I hear other people do it. I don't know why it bothers me so much. Like, you can't say Parks and Recreation.
You can't finish recreation. You're that busy. But that's not your style.
It's not my style. I got the time. I'm a man of leisure. Parks ampersand recreation. How do you like that?
Nice. He asked me to do his show called Snowpants over at UCB in LA.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of fun.
And it's an improv show where he gets improv veterans, like people who've been doing it for years, and people who are new to improv.
And they all mix together.
Yeah.
And Ben hosts it, and he gets the audience in this like great frenzy where everybody's having a lot of fun. And that's kind of brought me back to doing live stuff. So I try to do Ben's show whenever he asks, but other than that, not too much.
Do you miss it?
I used to perform with a guy named Oliver Raleigh in a group called the Midwesterners, and we're still really close. We had stopped doing that group, but I missed that because that was the group. We were talking about Mr. Show earlier. That our group, when we started, we were 19, and we would study Mr. Show, and we would rent out little places like Surf Reality and New York or Collective Unconscious.
Yeah.
We'd spend like $150, charged $3, try to make our money back. And it was really, I felt, the time where we were figuring out what we wanted to do comedically. And it was very clear we were just stealing from our idols. We knew you would do a skit that we would just copy Mr. Show but change the characters' names.
Well, that's just plagiarism.
Well, it's different character names. But we would find what
Your case has been made.
But you start finding what you like to do. And I do find with the stuff I'm doing, all of it really formed during that era of the Midwesterners. So I don't miss currently doing it, but I miss that period.
Your performing is probably satisfied by New Girl, and you get to work with other people that you have a rapport with, but it's a totally different kind of camaraderie that I guess sometimes you miss.
Yeah, and I also miss there was something about starting up on stages that, there's a lot of guys in LA who I'll meet who came out here at 18 and have been working since they were, children, essentially. And there's something that's missed about being in front of a crowd that hates you. There are so many shows I've done where they hated me.
Right.
But you're committed to a 40-minute sketch show. And it was I used to do all the festivals. And they're gonna live with me for 40 minutes. And it teaches you something. To in the middle of a show, to be making eye contact with your comedic partner and realize we need to make an adjustment now. This is the worst show we have ever done. And then when you start making those, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And so that era of it all I do genuinely miss. And he was just in town, so it's all fresh. We got to talk about it all. We did our greatest hits in front of no one. Right. We don't have a fan base, nobody cares. But we'd be remember that great skit that 11 people saw?
Well, listen, my fondest wish for you is that you will one day soon be back in front of an audience that despises you.
Thank you.
Jake, thank you so much for being here.
Paul.
My thank yous to Jake Johnson. Season finale of New Girl is May 14th.
That's correct.
Tune in to Fox. Check your local listings. That is it for this round of Speakeasy. Please join me again next time when my guest will be a different person. Parks and Recreation. It's not hard.
I know, it's so easy. We have the time. Parks and Rec is a great show, though.
Is it a different show than I'm thinking? Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check back every Monday to see who I interview next. And for more info about Speakeasy, visit mademan.com.